Studies have shown people living with HIV are 50 to 100% more likely to have a heart attack or develop cardiovascular disease than people living without the HIV infection. It's envisaged that this clinical trial, REPRIEVE, will assist people living with HIV-Aids to live longer lives. REPRIEVE is an international trial with sites in the United States, Canada, Thailand, Brazil, and now here in South Africa. The trial is expected to enroll 6,500 participants worldwide, approximately 100 clinical sites. Now, in studio, well, we are joined by the study coordinator for REPRIEVE at the Wits Health Consortium. That's the Helen Joseph Hospital, Pauline Vunandlala. Very good morning to you, Pauline.
Morning.
And then with her, she is with Yvette Raphael, who is living with HIV, aging with HIV. Yvette will talk about the importance of such research. A very good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Pauline, let's start with you. What is the situation concerning the prevalence of heart disease amongst people living with HIV in South Africa?
In South Africa, it has been noted that there is an increase in cardiovascular diseases in people living with HIV. Therefore, I think studies like REPRIEVE are going to be helping us a lot because, as you know, the patients with HIV, they've got extra burden. They've got the infection itself, which attacks their immune system, and they also have the increasing this cardiovascular disease, and also they've got opportunistic infections. So if there is any study that is embarking on preventing these cardiovascular disease, I think it will be welcomed by the South Africans.
Now, Yvette, tell us a little bit of your story.
All right. I was diagnosed with HIV when I was 25 years old, and at that time, I was told that I would have to take ARVs, HIV medication, for the rest of my life. I didn't think it would be another 15 years later. So 15 years later, and as a person living with HIV advocate, I realized that we starting to face issues as people living with HIV and getting older, that issues related to heart diseases, diabetes and other illnesses. So for us, this is welcomed, and we're excited that finally the lens is on people living with HIV and improving their quality of life while on treatment.
Why would you say is it important then for people to register with REPRIEVE, and tell us, what does it involve?
It's important for people to register or to participate in the trials because it's important for us to know the facts. Our government is very finicky when it comes to research and the results, and to prove that this drug can help people living with HIV. I think it's important for people living with HIV older than 40 to enroll in the study so that we have definite answers for this.
How do you view REPRIEVE?
I view REPRIEVE as a study that is going to be helping our people, because if you've got a burden on your own because of HIV status, as she's saying, then you need some other form of help like REPRIEVE. REPRIEVE is going to be helping a lot of people in our society.
And the experience of participants in this trial now, what are they telling you?
In this trial, we've enrolled since October last year. We have enrolled about 50 patients. I think it is fast growing, and I think the positiveness of our people is great because they are just coming to enroll in the study. We have introduced it in the clinics, in the surrounding clinics, as well as HIV clinic at Helen Joseph. And then the patients are coming. I've interviewed, I think, about 2 of them. They just welcomed this because if it's going to prolong their lifespan, they are going to be helped, because some of them are mothers living with HIV, some of them are fathers living with HIV. So any help that is going to be helping them, they are welcomed. So they also want to plow back to the community because as mothers, you need to have your family. They always had their family support, but now that they are going to be involved in this study is going to help them to prolong their lifespan as well as to look after their children.
What are the What are the experiences that you've gone through with this trial and the conversations you've had to have with your family and those kind of things? What do they say? Because obviously everyone has a little bit of input before you come into this kind of thing.
Yes, I just need to make clear I'm not a trial participant, but I'm an advocate in research. So I advocate for research to happen in South Africa because of the burden of HIV that we face in our country.
Okay, that's very difficult. How many people? Very difficult for me, obviously. I've been misinformed. I apologize for that. How many people have you enrolled in the program? And talk to us about the follow-ups and the follow-through and the work that you do with them once they're enrolled.
Should I speak specifically about REPRIEVE or clinical trials in general?
No, REPRIEVE specifically.
REPRIEVE, we have enrolled about 50 patients on REPRIEVE. And then the criteria for enrollment we mentioned is between 40 and 75. And then the patient should be on ARV, uninterrupted ARVs for 6 months at least. If then there is some interruption because of certain conditions or of certain illnesses or of some sort, then the patient is only allowed to have missed at least 14 doses only. And then the patients must be well and must also be in the, I've said it in ages of 40 to 75. Okay, they mustn't be having things like high cholesterol because this is preventing the patients from getting these diseases, which eventually will cause maybe heart failures if it's not treated.
Yeah, it's the other diseases that you take your eye off that can be very dangerous. Do you believe in your lifetime we'll have a vaccine for HIV?
I would hope so. And as an advocate and an activist, that is what we're working for, so that we can see more research happening in this community, and as well for people to have some kind of hope. And I hope during this time we would see some positive results in HIV and AIDS research. So many is happening in South Africa, so we need to keep our eye on it.
Ladies, thank you very much for coming in today and joining us to talk about this very important trial. This is the study coordinator for REPRIEVE at the Wits Health Consortium, also working at the Helen Joseph Hospital, Pauline, Vunandlala, together with Yvette Raphael, who is living with HIV. We're going to take a short